Hello and welcome back to the Gaming Tech channel, everybody. We're live on YouTube and Twitch, and here we are with our Forza Horizon 5 series. And today's Christmas, so Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good day. Let's get this session started with this Nissan Skyline R34. We got some seasonal championships on the map, so we're going to be doing those today. Why does the Skyline have such long gearing? I must have done that for a race or something. But yeah, the gearing is super long, as you can see. And this car is lightly modified, nothing too crazy, it's still in B class. Oh yeah, look at that gearing. Let me fix that real quick. There we go. Much better. It's right around 400 horsepower. RB26, 2.6 liter straight 6 engine with twin turbos. Alright, I don't want to be doing this. Let's quit this event.
Round one, hey!
Alright, let's see where that first championship is. I see one up here. Okay, let's go do that. Alright, we got 3 events. And we can pick from these 2 trucks. The Lamborghini or the Raptor. I kind of want to go with the Lambo truck. The old Lambo truck. Not the Urus. But the LM002. I believe this Lambo truck has a V12, if I'm not wrong. Could be a V10, but I think it's a V12. And we got the EcoBoost 3.5 liter V6 in the Raptor. Since I've never driven this old Lambo truck, I think I'm gonna go with this one. Even though it has less horsepower and more weight, we'll make it work. Wow, it's slow. It revs all the way up to 8,000 RPM. I honestly can't tell if it's a V10 or a V12. It sounds really smooth, so it could be a V12. And once you get the momentum going, it's not that bad. It's only in like the initial start where it's kind of slow, but once you pick up those RPMs, it's pretty good. Not that bad. You just gotta keep it in the right RPM band. Also, it's bone stock, so that's why it's kind of sluggish. Yeah, the gearing is really long, as you can see. The second gear goes all the way up to 100 miles per hour. That's 160 kilometers. Oh no! Yeah, this is not gonna cut it. This is not gonna cut it. I already know. I'm gonna do one more restart. I mean, our first restart here. No, one more. Yeah, look at that. The fourth gear goes up to 160. I don't think it's gonna go up to 160 because the top speed here is 142. What can we do to make this thing faster? Nothing as of now because it's bone stock. We just have to keep it in the right gear and try our best. And if everything fails, we'll quit the race and modify it and bring it back. The Raptor would have been a better choice, but I really wanted to drive this thing. Now we know that it has long gears and bad brakes, so we'll be mindful of that. On the downhill, it rips! Look at that! It rips on the downhill. I mean, that's every car, right? We can't let the RPMs fall behind 4 RPM. If it goes lower than 4, it's gonna have trouble picking up those RPMs because of the gearing. Here I have to downshift to first gear. I tell you what, Tacoma's beating us. That's funny. Not just a Tacoma, it's a TRD. Does the TR80 Tacoma have a supercharger? I don't think it does. I think it's just suspension stuff. Mercedes X-Class. No, the Tacoma! Get back here, Tacoma. This thing is super heavy and it's got long gearing. It's not the right recipe, I'll tell you that. But again, this thing is old, so back then it was probably considered fast. Dude, even if it can finish second, that's pretty decent. It soaks up all those bumps nicely. The suspension is good. There's a Tundra behind us, but we finished second. Not bad at all for a stock Lamborghini LM002. How did they come up with that name? What does the LM stand for? I have no idea. This Jeep Renegade finished first. Tacoma finished third. And we finished second. A Monero VXR. That's like your Australian Pontiac GTO, basically. Nice. Alright, we're actually gonna go modify this thing because I think it's a lot more fun compared to the Raptor. It's got a better character to it. Better feel, better vibe. I like the older Raptors, man, the V8 Raptors. The new ones don't sound as good as the old ones. That's because they got rid of the V8s. Okay, let's make this thing lighter. We gotta keep it in C class. So we can't make it too light. I'll just knock off a little bit weight off it. 185 pounds, yeah. Not bad. And let's add a better transmission in here. I actually don't know how many gears it has from factory. Let's find out. We're just gonna install the weight reduction and I'm gonna check out how many gears it has from factory. Must be a 5-speed, but let's double check here. Yeah, it's a 5-speed with some long gears, bro. So honestly, we don't have to put a 10-speed in here. We could just get a sport transmission so we can adjust the final drive. So yeah, that might be our best bet here. I think it's a manual. Yeah, it's a manual. So, or we could go with the race transmission, which will give us automatic with 6 speeds and faster shifts. I don't think we need that, to be honest. We're trying to keep this thing in C class. And I'm just gonna get the sport transmission so we can unlock the final ratio. The differential ratio at the back here. Or in the transmission, I don't know how they're trying to, you know, how it's done in this game. Maybe it's the final in the transmission. As far as I know, the transmission just has gears, like, you know, the final drive is always like your differential. But again, I could be wrong. You know, there could be a final drive gear inside the transmission that I'm not aware of. I'm not too sure about that, but I know in real life, when you talk about adjusting the final drive, it's always adjusting the differential ratios, which doesn't affect your gear ratios inside the transmission, but it affects your final drive, the final torque that gets delivered to the wheels. But I don't know how Forza is doing it. Forza might be applying a different method, but I am just gonna assume that final drive is the differential here, which makes more sense. We'll get a better clutch. Lighter drive shaft, sport transmission. Differential can stay stock for now. We're not trying to do anything with that. Yeah, the differential ratios, the final drive ratio should have been adjusted by upgrading the diff, but in this game, that's not the case. You adjust the final drive from the transmission. Now what should we do? Add a little bit of power? Yeah, we can do that. It already revs high enough. I don't think it needs more horsepower. I think it needs more torque. Add some force induction? Oh, we can actually do that while staying in C class? Yeah, dude, let's put twin turbos on this thing. Yep, we're gonna do that. That'll give a nice torque down low, which it really needs. Alright. Can we do exhaust? That sounds like a V12 to me. That's crazy. Putting a race exhaust on here only gives it 5 extra horsepower. Alright, intake, exhaust, and race carburetor. Okay, that's the setup. Pretty simple. I think it's gonna perform a lot better than before. Of course, we still need to adjust our final drive. So this is what I mean, like when we adjust the final drive, the gear ratios for each gear stays the same. It's just the differential ratio that's being adjusted, but the final drive here is inside your transmission gearing, not under differential, you know? I want to make it sharper. Maybe more. Maybe not that high. About yeah, that's fine. I think it's really gonna have a nice acceleration boost now off the line with some short gearing and more torque from the turbos. It should launch really hard. Well, needs more RPMs. Drives much better. Okay, I think I made the gear ratios a little too tall, a little too short. Okay, let's try that. That's better. That's good. Alright, where's the next event now? It's a screamer. It screams. It's crazy how this 3.5 liter makes more torque than our Lamborghini with twin turbos on it. That's just funny, man. The engines have come a long way, you know. 80s versus the... what do you want to call this? 21st century. Okay, let's see if we have improved this truck or not. We got lighter weight, better gear ratios, a little bit of more power. Third gear feels strong. That Tacoma flipped itself. This thing's got a solid suspension. What did I just do? That was a close one, but we got it. Nice. Solid race. We finished first, and we just have to do that one more time. Truck is all dirty, but that's what it's made for. Where is the next event? Down here. Cool. Let's drive down there. We'll drive down there in a different car so we can get there faster. How about a Lamborghini with a V12? Because, you know, we're in a Lambo truck, so it only makes sense to go in a Lamborghini race car. Not a race car, but a supercar. This is also bone stock. I don't think any of my Lamborghinis are modified. They're all stock. The LP640 Super Veloce. There we go, the final event. Let's get it done. Perfect. You got the Jaguar SUV. Nice. The F-Pace. Is that my first F-Pace or do I already have one? Let's find out. Alright, that's my first one. Cool. Three-liter V6 supercharged, I think. It's alright. Too bad it's not the 5-liter V8 supercharged. Same engine that the other Jag has, the sedan. So this shares the same platform as the XE, not the platform, I mean the engine, the XE-S. But I wonder if you can swap the engine from the F-Type. I'm actually gonna find out. It would be nice to have a V8 in here because it actually comes with a V8, I think, if you go for the higher model. I'm 100% on that, but I think they might. Oh, bro. No. No, no, no. These are not even like your proper wide body fenders. They're just like some bolt-ons. Just riveted on, you know. No, that's how you ruin it. I mean, if you're going for that whole off-roading look, I guess. But why would you do that on this Jag? No. It's all-wheel drive from factory. Of course, it's an SUV. I mean, not all SUVs are all-wheel drive, so... Especially the luxury ones, they're all all-wheel drive. 90% of them. So you can put a 6.2 V8, the LS3. No, that's not the LS3. That's the C63 engine. 1.6 Rally Turbo, no. The racing 3-liter straight 6 turbo, no. So it looks like you can actually swap the other Jag 5-liter V8 supercharged engine in this Jag, which is not that good. They should have had that option, but we can add the Mercedes 6.2. Alright, I'm not going to be wasting any money on this car. This can stay the way it is. It can stay stock. Let's jump into another car here. For now, we're just going to jump into the Demon, the SRT Demon. We'll drive this down to our next championship. Where is our next championship? Let's find out. I see one over here. Alright. We'll win an ATS way. Cool, let's go. For some reason, it feels slow. Has it always been this slow? So we got a variety of options here. It has to be an A-class car. I think I'm gonna go with my modified Z4 Roadster. Or should we go with the Lotus? As you can see, one of them is modified with better tires and aero. But everything else is stock. And all these cars over here are stock as well. This is also stock. I think I'm gonna go with the Z4 Roadster. I really like this car. The actual Supra. The real Supra without the Supra body. The Z4 M40i. Not the C4M, the Z4 M40i. Same B58 engine and the chassis that the Supra shares with. It's pretty much a Z4, you know, as we all know. a really balanced chassis. Oh no. Okay, we finished second. Not bad at all. We lost to the Audi TT RS, which obviously has more grip. Where's the next event? Not too far from here. Yeah, we're definitely down on grip. We don't have the best tires on here. I think I want to try a different car for the next race here. Let's try the Exige S with the mods, with the better tires and some aero. So it's less power compared to the Z4 M40i, but it's a mid-engine car, so it has better grip when it comes to the engine placement. And it has more aero, so that should result in better grip as well as better tires. Again, more grip. It's lighter as well, so the less weight should make up for the less power that it has compared to our M40i. We'll give it a go. I think it's gonna do just alright. It's a nice looking car. Nice small sports car. I don't think it's a supercar. I think it's a sports car. Yeah, it's definitely a sports car. I believe it shares the engine with the Toyota, if I'm not wrong. So even though it has less power, it actually feels pretty quick because of how light it is. Wow, it's really grippy. It drives like a go-kart. There's so much grip. What is this BRZ doing? Come on, BRZ, don't be like that. The brakes are too damn good. We don't want to be braking too early because they brake just on time. Easy win for the Lotus. We just have to do that one more time. Ford Transit from 1965. An old school van. Cool. Was that a CLK GTR? I think it was. Okay. Okay, where is the next event? It's hiding from us. It's down here. Let's switch our car. We'll drive down there in a different car. The Ferrari F40, I really like this one. This car is perfect. Makes all the right sounds. What a beast. Yeah, let's choose the Lotus again. The air was really slowing us down after like 140 miles. We did it! And we win the ATSV. I think it's my second one. Nice. Good job, Lotus. Alright, yeah, it is my second one. The first one has been converted into a drift car. And this one is stock. Of course, we'll build this into a different build, you know, because the CTSV is also a drift car and the ATSV is also a drift car, so this has to be something else. And what should we do now? I think we have done all the championships. We completed them all. Let's switch to the GT500. And then we'll decide what we're gonna do here. Man, I love this car. Okay. Now let's take a look at the map. I believe there was only 2 championships that we had. We might have a third one hiding somewhere. I'm not too sure. Oh, dude, we do have a third one. Okay. All right. There's one more to go. All right, hold up. I'll be right back. I'm gonna crack the window open in my room. Getting kind of toasty with 2 of my PCs on. And I'm back. So this car is, I believe, 1,000 horsepower. Yeah, 1,000 horsepower. And the Challenger that we were in earlier, that was also 1,000 horsepower. But these 2 cars feel exactly the opposite. This almost feels like it has 1,500 horsepower because of how light it is and how it responds. Yeah, 2 totally different platforms. I mean, they're similar, front engine, rear wheel drive, but the way they drive is so much different. The Challenger is so much heavier, so much bigger. I would say the Challenger feels more planted on the road because of its weight and its wheelbase. This is a little handful sometimes. Plus this car's got a DCT transmission. Dual clutch, where the Challenger has a regular torque converter, 8-speed. Man, this car is crazy. In a good way. Okay, let's do this. We got a bunch of different options here. Lots of different options. The 6x6. This thing is crazy, bro. 9,000 pounds? That's heavy. That's gotta be the heaviest vehicle that I have. 9,000 pounds. That's next level, bro. I think the F350, the dually, is heavier. I'm not sure. Might be the same weight almost. I don't know what to pick right now. What should we pick? I really don't know. Wait, is this gonna be a dirt race? No, not really. Is it? Yes, it is a dirt race, so we're gonna be better off picking a car that has dirt tires. I don't want to pick a buggy, bro. No, I don't want a buggy. This Porsche Macan Turbo is decent. I used this in a previous stream in dirt event, and we had to modify a bunch of times to get the setup right. That was pretty funny. Although the buggies are gonna be your best choice, but I just don't want a buggy. A pre-runner? No, I think we're gonna go with the Porsche Macan. The G-Wagon might be a good option. It's not like super heavy. Yeah, it's heavy, but it's got a lot of torque from the V12 twin turbo. Should we go with the G-Wagon this time? Even though it doesn't have dirt tires, we might suffer a little. I think we'll try out the Macan in the first race, and if it doesn't work out, we'll switch to the G-Wagon. Not the 6x6, but the 4x4. There's a Ford 6x6 here. That's funny. Everybody's got a different car from a different category. That's crazy. We got coupes, we got SUVs, we got 6x6s. We got sedans. We got a front wheel drive car in there. We got a 370, a Subaru. Yeah, bro, this is next level. We got everything. How's the 370Z winning? Makes no sense. We're going pretty fast. Can we catch up to it? Got a few sharp turns in here. Bro, the 370's gone. Porsche did alright. We just need something that does better than the Porsche. This thing looks so funny. Well, not the SUV itself, but the tire setup that we got on here. Okay, now for the next one. Well, let's just switch to something different. I want to switch to the M2. I really like this car. We'll drive this down to the next event, which is not too far. Okay. Okay, I know said that I was gonna try out the G65, but I'm looking at this Mini, and it's not a buggy. It's an off-roading car, SUV, whatever you wanna call it. I've never tried this out, so I'm gonna give it a go. Look at this thing. It's ready for off-road. Wow, the gear ratios are so short. We're in 5th gear, 6th. Wow. We're maxed out. No way. Oh no, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. Are we maxed out at like what? 95 miles per hour? Can we adjust the gear ratios? So looks like we can adjust pretty much everything on this car. It's all unlocked without doing any modifications to it. So let's make the gear ratios longer here, because they were too damn short, as you saw. That's much better. Alright, let's try it now. This thing looks funny. It's doing alright. Especially after adjusting the gear ratios. It's heavy, bro. I think I saw the weight, it was like 4,000 pounds, something like that. Which is freaking heavy for a Mini. Not bad, not bad. One more to go. I think I made the gear ratios a little too long. Let's make it slightly shorter. That's alright. Should launch a little better now. That's fine. Alright, where's the next race? Over here? Kind of far away. We'll drive there in a different car. How about the old school Viper? Look at this thing. The frickin' monster. Alright, we're gonna choose the Mini again. Oh wow, it's got decent torque. So not a whole lot of horsepower, but it's a really good amount of torque there. Dude, is this thing a diesel? It might be a diesel because it only revs up to like 4,500 RPM. Has a lot more torque than its horsepower figure. So there's a good chance that this might be a diesel. Which should be pretty odd for a Mini. But again, this is not a standard Mini, as you can see. Asubi's flying. Alright, we finished second, but did we win the championship? Do we have enough points altogether? Oh no! We don't have enough points. We're gonna have to restart this. Ah. Okay. We got this. We got this. After a little bit of tuning, I think we're ready to go. I think that should do it. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh my god, so close. Wow, that was so close. We lost to the same Subaru again, so we're gonna have to restart one more time. But I think we can do this. We can definitely do this. We might have to choose a different car. So we're gonna restart. And I think I'm gonna use the same car again. But we're gonna do something different here. Alright, let's give it one more go. Come on, get that Subi. Get that Subaru. No, don't do me like that again. Again, so close. Yeah, we didn't get the first position, so here's what I'm thinking. We're gonna have to make some changes. We're gonna have to quit the event and come back with a better car, or we're gonna have to tune this one. And that's the only way. Because no matter what we try, it's kind of ending up with the same result. And I can definitely fix this. We just need to see what needs to be done first. I don't even think this is the right platform. I mean, yeah, it's a nice dirt car, but it's too heavy and it doesn't have enough horsepower. It's got a lot of torque, but not enough horsepower. As you can see. Only has 300 horsepower. So what if I make it lighter? Is that gonna help? I can't make it lighter. Are you serious? So we're gonna discard this car. We're gonna go with a different one. It needs to be from 2010 to 2020, in between those years. Yeah, let's see. Okay, instead of modifying the car, why don't we go back to the event and maybe we'll be able to choose something different there, a different car. Maybe a buggy finally? I didn't want to go with the buggy, but maybe that's the only answer. So we'll try doing everything to this car, but doesn't really want to do something different. It just does the same thing, no matter how we modify the tune. We could add more power to it, but again, we can't really take off any weight, and it's really heavy, and I just don't want to race with this car anymore. We need to pick a different car here. Maybe go with one of these buggies. Yeah, we'll go with the buggy now. A rear engine buggy or a front engine rear wheel drive buggy. So this is 1,500 pounds, 250 horsepower. This is heavier plus less horsepower. So again, we're gonna go with the one that has the most amount of horsepower and the least amount of weight. Here it is. We have to choose a buggy because I feel like this track is most suited for a buggy. That's crazy, bro. I don't know why I didn't do this before, but let's see if we can win. The competition's even tougher now because we got a faster buggy. This is higher up in its class. Wow, all the cars just got faster because we're in a faster car. don't think this is gonna work out, bro. Nope, this is not gonna work out. We need to come up with a different plan. So, here's what I'm thinking. Let's go back to the drawing board, which means our garage. And maybe I can make this buggy all-wheel drive, which will give us enough traction. No, we can't do that. It goes in A-class right away. Bro, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, bro? What the hell do we do here? I mean, we didn't try out that Porsche Macan again. Maybe we should try that out. Let's give that a go. Maybe that'll be the right car or the right SUV for this race. Alright. We're back here. And we are gonna go with the Porsche Macan one more time. I have faith. I have faith in this Porsche. Porsche. Come on, Porsche. Don't let me down. Please. Come on, Porsche. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Get him, get him, get him. Not again, bro. Same result again? You gotta be freaking kidding me. You gotta be kidding me, bro. That's not fair, bro. That is not fair. That's not fair. I don't understand this. Do we have enough points? Oh, wait, what? Okay. We have enough points. Alright, we don't have to restart this one. That's cool. We win the championship. Alright. Look at that. We win the 2002 Z06. I believe this is my second one. You have so many repeating cars. So freaking many repeating cars, bro. But damn, that was a tough one. But thanks to the Macan, we got it done. Yeah, there was no chance with that Mini, bro. And when we used the buggy was just all over the place. But this Porsche got it done. We just needed to win the championship and get the most amount of points, and we got that. And we won the Z06. So let's double check if I already have a Z06. I think I do. I'm pretty sure. I remember driving one. Yep. It's your second one. Cool. So many repeating cars. I feel like out of the 272 cars that I have, at least like 70 are repeating. Okay, that's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It really helps me out. And I'll catch you in the next one. Merry Christmas.